Hi everyone and welcome back. It's Mindy with Mindy Egan Design, and today's card is for the Stamping for Autism Awareness Blog Hop. Now, I'm so proud to be a part of this blog hop. This touches me personally as my son, who is 7.5, has autism. So this is part of my daily life and another reason why I do love card making, because I love getting my mind off of things and pouring them into creativity. Autism is something that I honestly had never really paid attention to until it came into my life. And it does have its challenges, yes, absolutely. But it makes you appreciate the small things in life. It really, truly does. And we wouldn't change a single thing about our son. We adore all his little quirks. We adore his sense of humor. So it is something to be aware of, though. And it is something that does concern us for the future on how other people act around our son or how they help him blend into society. So I am really proud to be a part of this blog hop. There are also lots of inspiration along this blog hop, so be sure to visit my blog and check out all the inspiration that you're going to find and tons of sponsors. And I'll have my blog listed down below as well. So for my card now today, I am using products from Pink & Main, and as you can see, I ink blended a background onto Bristol Smooth cardstock with some Distress ink oxides. I used Abandoned Coral, Squeezed Lemonade, and Salty Ocean. And then I went ahead and die cut that using the heart puzzle die from Pink & Main. So what I did here is when I ran it through my Big Shot machine, I was careful when taking it out. I didn't want the pieces to fall out. And then I'm taking some micro pour tape and I'm just going to lay this all over the back of my die cut piece because I want all the pieces to stay in that puzzle. So I really like the rainbow effect that I was able to make with the Distress Oxides, and I want to keep everything together. So then I'm just going to carefully remove that cardstock, and my puzzle piece will be all in one piece. And then what I'm going to do here is just take my Distress sprayer, spritz some water down, and I'm going to grab a paintbrush, pick up some water, and just do some flicks so I have those water spots on the cardstock, and just dab it up with some paper towel. And that's going to just leave a really cool effect that you can get a closer look at in the pictures that I have in the beginning of the video and at the end. So now that I have that piece ready, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to do some stamping. And for my stamping, I'm going to be using the stamp set 2 pieces from Pink & Main. It has all these really cute sentiments and teddy bears on there. And I'm just going to use the one teddy bear. This one is carrying a puzzle piece. It's super sweet. Love that. So I'm going to use my Misty to stamp this just to make sure I get a really nice crisp impression. And I'm going to use Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink, which is a Copic friendly ink, because I'll be coloring it with my Copic markers. And now I'll just stamp that twice, make sure I have that nice clean impression, and then come in with my Copic markers. Oh yes, I forgot what I wanted to do. One of my ideas was I wanted to paper piece a few of these pieces of the bear. So I'm actually going to end up stamping this bear 2 more times is what I ended up doing. So I'm stamping it. One of them I want to have the arm. So I'm going to cut the arm out separately. And then on another piece, I'm also going to stamp it down the line here. And I'm going to have the puzzle piece to be a separate one. So here I'm just coming in with my Copic markers. And I start out with my darkest color, and then I'm blending out with my lightest. So I go back over that dark and then blend out a little bit more, and I'm just adding shadows where I think they would line up. So just a little bit around the head there for definition, a little bit above the nose, and then around the puzzle piece, because that puzzle in front of the face is going to cast that shadow, and a little bit for where the ears are starting to pop out of the head, just because if they're laying behind the head, that would cast a shadow. And I like to break my images down when I'm Copic coloring. So right now I'm just doing the head of the bear, and then once I'm satisfied with that blending, I'll go and finish the rest of the body. And I do typically go over my images twice just to make sure I have a really nice good blend and that I can deepen up my shadows a little bit. So then I'm going to come in to the body of the bear, and I'm adding shadows to the back side of him, so it's almost like the light is coming from the front. And then also on the underside of the arm, the back side of the leg, and then also on the other front leg, I'm going to come down a little bit and then towards the bottom of the foot. And then I'm just doing the same thing, is blending those out. And actually for this piece, I forgot the arm. I'm just going to lay down some color, because what I'm going to end up doing is cutting those pieces out from my other scratch pieces of paper. So I just wanted to have a base coat laid down on the arm, just in case any poked through, or if you looked from the side of the card, at least that would be covered. So this is where I'm just going to color the arm and adding in my shadows. It's a really simple image to color in, came together really quick. And that'll be the arm that I'm going to cut out. So like here, I'm just adding that base down. And finishing off a little bit of color in the eye area, the bottom of the foot, and then just a dab of pink in the ears. And that'll finish off the coloring of my bear. And then I can come in and die cut that out with the coordinating dies. Pink and Main's dies come already separated, so there's no wire snips that are needed. And now here's just getting that arm cut out. So I started out, I tried to cut this down to smaller pieces so it's easier to move and twist around. So I'm cutting along the edge, the black line of my arm. And then this is where I'm stamping that third bear, and I just want the puzzle piece. And what I'm actually going to do, instead of doing the Copic markers, I came in with the ink blending tools. So the same color, I did a blue and a yellow to try and match what I had on my heart. So I ink blended that. I thought that would just look really cool versus trying to use my Copic markers and match the colors. At least with the Distress Oxides and the blending tool, it already matched. So just fussy cutting that out along those black lines. Not worrying about the paw because that's going to get covered up anyway. And then I like to use my tweezers for this because it's a lot easier to hold those small pieces and line them up perfectly with the lines on my bear. And I think this turned out super cute. I'm so glad I did this, and it added a little bit of dimension to my bear. And then I'll just adhere those down with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. This is one of my favorite liquid adhesives to use. It dries clear. This bottle also has a really nice fine tip on it. That's one of the biggest things that drew me to this adhesives. And now I need a sentiment, so I'm going to use the thanks to you, and I'm just using the die on this. So what I did was I cut 3 thanks out of black cardstock. I'm going to use my tweezers to hold that and use that Nuvo Deluxe adhesive again to just throw some adhesive down in there, and then I'm going to line this up so I'll have 3 layers stacked. And then once that's stacked up, I can go ahead and add that, or that will be added to my heart. So here I'm just kind of getting an idea of how my card is going to look, where I want to place everything. And the reason I chose this design of a card today is because since there are so many people involved in my son's life, I wanted to make a thank you card for them. And I always have tons of thank you cards that I like to make. So I'm going to use the I appreciate you. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use the Misty Corners for this. So I love this trick that I saw. So I'm using the Misty Corner. I'm just going to lay down my sentiment on white cardstock and then push it up with the Misty Corner like you saw there. And that's going to help make that perfectly straight on that little strip of cardstock. I love that trick. You definitely have to try it out. So now I can start assembling my card. And I'm deciding to use double-sided adhesive because since I already had that micro pour tape on there, I wanted to make sure this really stuck down to my card. So I'm just going to go around and add all of that adhesive to the back of the heart. And then I can line that up on my A2 size card base. And the teachers and the aides that are involved with my son's life, they just get the biggest charge out of the cards that I give them, the Copic colored or even just a really cool background, they really appreciate it. So it's always nice to make sure we show our appreciation for the people that do help us with the challenges that we face. So now I'm just going to take my heart and center that in the middle. And I will add this die cut as well with the deluxe adhesive. Like I said, this has a really nice strong hold to it. This is just totally top of my favorites list for adhesive. And then just making sure to push that down really well. And if there is a little bit that kind of pops out from squishing it down, it dries clear, so no worries. And then getting my sentiment attached there, because I definitely appreciate all the people involved in our lives. And for my little bear, I'm going to go ahead and pop him up on some foam squares. And then I'll also be adding just a little bit of shading underneath his feet there with my Copic marker. I'm just going to come in, I think it was with a C2. I apologize, I cannot find my recipe for the Copic colors that I used, but it was one of the cool grays that I used to add shading to underneath him. So I just get that lined up. And then pop in some shading. Now I wanted to add just a little bit of sparkle yet to this. So I'm taking my tonic shimmer pen and I'm just going to quickly go over my black cardstock die cut word there. And this is going to add a really nice sparkle to these words. This is one of my favorite pens to use for adding just a little bit of something to the card. And once I'm done with that, once that's dry, I'm going to come in and add some Nouveau glaze to the top of it. So that is a great combination. You're going to have that extra shine and sparkle to it. Just be careful because with the Nouveau glaze, it does come out really fast and you don't want it to spill over because I've had that happen. So you just got to be careful when applying that. So there's the pen and it's got just this gorgeous sparkle to it. Love it. Really pretty shimmer. And then, like I said, I'll come in with the Nouveau glaze. And then a last finishing touch I'm going to do to the card is add some jewels. And I'll also be using the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to add those jewels to the card. And that is going to end up finishing everything off. I really hope you enjoyed today's card and it gave you some ideas. And, you know, definitely encourage our children and make sure we thank the people that are involved with our children's lives and adults' lives, anyone that is part of the autism awareness, because we do need more people aware. We definitely want people to be more accepting of these challenges that we face. I definitely feel very strongly about that. So be sure to head over to my blog, check out all the inspiration from all the other people that are involved. It's a lot and there's so many good ideas out here. So, and a big thank you to everyone that has participated in this. It truly means the absolute world to me. So I'll have all those linked down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I truly appreciate it.